Don't do it, dip.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
What is going on, fight fans? We are back for another episode of Combat Deviants. I'm your host, as always, Stephen Rochelle, and to the left of me today is Mr. Evil Eddie. How are we feeling tonight, my friend? Lots of fun and crazy stuff going on in the combat sports world. A lot of stuff to cover. How you feeling tonight, brother?
Man, it's been such a crazy week. Not just in MMA, but in social media, celebrities mixing in with our culture. And they think, hey, I can't beat this guy that's 6'2", but this little furry animal over here, hey, I got something for him. But man, we're going to get into so many things today, but that is a huge topic. Also, UFC might be going to London. Actually, they are going to be going to London for a big event, and you're going to be happy or sad once I tell you the possible matchups that I would like and Steve would like. Other than this, is this the best matchup? And then we have our guest for today. It's the PFL takeover, Steve.
Yeah, it's the PFL takeover, man. We got a couple contestants on next weekend's event hopping on. Obviously, Mr. Amber Leibrock, who's no stranger to me and Eddie. We've been talking to her from her early Invicta days, Bellator days. Obviously, she is now going to be hopping on the Challenger series for this next one, and then we also have local guy to me over here at Martinez BJJ, 39-year-old heavyweight Mr. Patrick Brady. He's undefeated. He's 5-0. He's gonna throw his hat in the PFL cage and see how it plays out for him. Hopefully he can get the tournament win. Put some coin in his pocket.
Big dude, man. Big dude coming out of Philly as well, Steve. So I like that. If you guys have seen his fights before, when this guy slams you, like your chest pops out. It's one of those fighters where you're just in awe at his age and you just want to root for him. So, Steve, great guest that you got on here today.
Yeah, we always like to have a nice mix, man. Like we like to have a BKFC fighters, get some UFC level guys in there, get some of the local talent, not just from me, but from here in the tri-state area. Just we like to mix it up, man. Like we're not homering out to any one promotion or anything like that. We're Combat Deviants. We love to talk to everybody. It doesn't matter if you're the AMI on the pro-am card and you're the first fight of the night, or if you're the main event on one of the biggest events of the year. We want to talk to all of you.
And Amber, actually, if you guys don't know who she is for some reason, she's fought the who's who over in Invicta. We've had Megan Anderson fights, and it's been a long ride for this girl to make it to what I would consider the pinnacle of excitement when you enter PFL, chasing that $1 million dream at that level. But she's got an amazing following, which I'm surprised she didn't go to Bellator. Usually those are the fighters that end up.
But I think she did for a period. I just think that she wasn't getting the matchups or the love she liked.
Her last fight.
Listen, the what they have over at PFL with that tournament. If you can clean out, you can put the 3 wins together. It's $1 million in your pocket, man. Like, how long is it going to take her to do that? Fighting for Invicta, fighting for Bellator, and it's nothing against either one of those promotions. I think it's one of the lures that why I think you're seeing people go to PFL. We've seen a bunch of higher caliber athletes wind up over there. You see what's going on with Kayla Harrison. They brought her over there. They were smart enough to bring in one of the best female boxers in the world, Miss Shields. She was under contract with them for a period of time. There's a lot of fun stuff going on with the heavier female fighters. I'd really like to see what Amber's going to do with her opportunity with PFL. Same thing that goes with Pat. Hopefully, like I said, they can get through they can put a couple wins together and get that $1 million get that $1 million check, so they can do whatever with that big cardboard check. Put it in the gym. Put it in their in their man or woman cave, however you want to have it. It's definitely a unique thing.
The Forrest Gump check. That's like you would want the whole check. And also, man, he's jumping into this thing, fighting a guy. Remember, you said he was 5-0. He's fighting a guy that's like 25-10. So, man, this is how you do it. This is how you make a statement as well. And yeah, it's just crazy to see that man telling us that he has to go tuck in his children. It's just like two different worlds, man. So that's going to be interesting to chop it up with him. Man, I want to jump into a couple things here.
Which one do you want to start with?
Well, Steve, I know that you're pissed off, and that's what people
Aren't
love.
We all? Aren't we all? Which one is it? Is it the tweet or the creepy little man?
Let me paint a picture for our audience here. We've been such diehards our entire lives, and last couple of years, it seems like things are switching up. They're doing more social media stuff to catch a boom, kind of like Bellator used to, and we would throw them shade and say it's a carnival act, right?
Yeah.
Why is Hasbulla over here? You might as well just bring Jake now too. It's what are they doing, Steve? I heard they're making like a card for him as well.
Let's pull that one up. Let's pull that one up real fast. So we'll pull that. Right. So anyone who is a collector, a hobbyist, and things of that nature, Panini America is kind of put a new insert in for their upcoming.
He's on his phone, bro, and throwing up the Paulie D, disco life over here. And I know damn well he didn't sign that either. That's not his handwriting.
How do you know? How do you know?
I don't know, but that's pretty neat sign, bro.
Listen. I don't try to knock anyone's hustle. We all need a little love and things of that nature, a little help here and there. But this one I'm confused about. I don't like to hate on anyone or anything like this, but I do not get why Hasbulla has a Panini American insert autograph card that's going to be coming out for their upcoming release for
in April, man, and includes first officially licensed autographed UFC trading card. Now this
he's under contract with them, and my thing is like, listen, he's not a fighter,
but it's his rookie card. So it says it's
a rookie. All right, so is he fighting this year? Are they making a special weight?
Yeah, actually, Steve, we did get a fight, and it was actually filmed as well. The opponent, he had a little height advantage. Hasbulla.
Oh man, you're talking about the stuff from this weekend. All right, hold on. Let's pull that one up. Man. So Hasbulla, is in some fire right now because apparently someone was silly enough to post a video of him, gripping up, pulling around, smacking around his cat.
Yeah, no.
So we just get UFC recently signed him, doing all that stuff. Panini American releases the card, and then he kind of knocks his own D in the dirt, so to speak, as the video comes out of him abusing that cat, and that's just not cool, man. On any level. I don't care if you're Hasbulla, if you're John Jones, if you're
it doesn't matter. If you're an animal,
if you're Matt Brown, if you're whoever, dude. There's no reason to post this. There's no reason to do this. If you get upset with your animal and you need to discipline them, fine. But I don't think you really need to go to that level nor post it.
Exactly, Steve.
And then I don't want to hear on a whole new can of worms. Go ahead, Eddie.
I don't want to hear it's a cultural thing. He's not, PC, right? He's not somebody that understands why this is wrong. Since you're a little kid, bro, you feel like, oh, kitten. You see somebody hit that thing, bro, especially online. There was a whole documentary about this guy that was torturing cats, killing them, posting them. Bro, they tracked that dude down on Reddit. Then you had the Shane Dawson jerking off on his cat. What's worse, Steve? Doing what Hasbulla did or getting off on your cat?
I mean, the cat isn't harmed from the lewd act. He's just covered in something he probably shouldn't be covered in. But
On OnlyFur instead of OnlyFans, it was on OnlyFur.
OnlyFur,
It was on
stop
OnlyFur.
it's OnlyFur. But listen, we live in a world like there's no room for animal abuse on any level. Like we do enough to ourselves, to our fellow man, and we do enough to animals and ourselves because they're breeded for our consumption for food in most cases. You don't need to do that to no cat. If you don't really care for it, you don't want them around or what, just get rid of them. There's someone else that want them.
Here's the thing, though. He did it like it was funny, putting it online. Does he not have people around him? He's just posting stuff like this. I've seen him in cars pointing guns out the window and shooting it off. I mean, like the UFC event, right, that he was at. Everyone in the crowd stopped watching the fight and turned around to see what all the commotion was. Later, come to find out it was Hassan Bula punching somebody in the face. And like stuff like that is a little silly. But something like this, under contract with the UFC and Disney, coming out with a statement as well, is that enough to get rid of this blemish and scuff now on your person?
I don't know how you get rid of that. How do you get rid of this?
That's the other thing too. They won't do anything about this, Steve. They're not going to do anything about this. They let Dana smack his wife. That's such a bad, all right, Dana could smack his wife, but I'm going to hit my cat. Dude, what is next, bro? What is next? We've watched Roy Nelson kick Big John McCarthy in the butt, and he got suspended for it. Dana's just sitting back. Hasbulla's sitting back. They're counting money. That's what they're doing.
And it's just a sad situation because it's just going to be the same thing. They're just going to act like it never happened. And that's not really how you should go about things.
But, Steve, you said you were going to go in on this kid. This is something that really burns me deep. I won't even kill, dude. I won't even kill the rat.
Hey Eddie, you think the comment? You're dreamy.
Get out of here. But listen, you know that I have those wild rats in the room, right? So I caught a bunch of them, as I told you. I could never imagine setting up a trap. The other night, one of them got stuck in the laundry basket trying to escape. And got stuck, bro. And when I tell you he was screaming for his life, it was so real. And it's so scary. If somebody can go out there and not feel that energy or feel some type of empathy towards an animal, you're a monster, bro.
I knew I forgot something. I forgot one thing. There's one thing I forgot to put up in the on the back end.
Well, that's it for
about Hasbulla about a week ago.
Well, what did he say?
There's more than a handful of athletes, people involved in and around the UFC that really doesn't care for the love affair with them, however you want to call that. So
yeah, the shenanigans. I'm surprised they even allowed the slap league, bro.
There's what?
I'm surprised they even allowed the slap league. Also, really
quick.
No,
and you're talking about that. You heard who just announced that he's going to be on their card, right? Tim Sylvia, and last I remember, Tim Sylvia was not cleared medically, because of damage.
Trying to sue the UFC for that arm break that he had years ago. It's all over once again. And Dana and everyone saying that's not my responsibility. Bro, that happened inside the cage. That happened in the cage. You don't have money, bro. That's couch cushion money to them. They're just being jerks. They don't want to help the people they need, but they'll hurt the people who are just standing there innocent. Nothing is going to stop these people, bro. It's so evil and it's right in front of our eyes. It really is.
Listen, I don't act like the
UFC
should pay for every single thing that an athlete incurs and things like that. Obviously, rules were differently back then. They didn't have quite the money coverage and things like that. They do now. We'd already seen it, but the fact that that arm has never kind of properly healed right. And
have you seen the photos, bro? It'll make you vomit. It will make you vomit.
And then he's gonna be doing the slap league on top of that, man. But going back to the hostile bullet thing, here's Sean
Yo, that's another thing, Steve. Really quick for the
like
audio.
he was at, like someone Sean had responded to a comment, the picture of him in Kazmat, and he was like, "Why are they holding this guy like he's a baby?" They know
Islam Makhachev, Islam Makhachev, and then little Hassanbullah. So he says for the audio, why do you hold this thing like a baby? It's 20 years old. Stop. Great point right there. People look at Hassanbullah and say he doesn't know better. Bro, this is an adult. This is an adult. So Strickland says, I'm not saying they're fucking him. I'm just saying treat him like an adult. Right?
Yeah, you gotta love Sean for just being blunt about how he feels about the situation.
Bro, he is
it's a refreshing thing, dude, just to see, like, he doesn't care who's gonna backlash at him or whatever. He's just like, I'm gonna put this out there. I don't care. If you like me, you like me. You don't. So.
You should have seen him on the Food Truck Diaries, man. He went in. But people give Strickland such a hard time, right? Because he has this whole facade that people love. But if you don't win the fight, you're just shit to them. And it's just something that I love that he holds this shtick, because it's more real than Kobe's shtick. This is shit that, like, we all think about in our heads. And we're just like, hell yeah, Strickland, right? What's up?
I just seen a message from someone. It's just, you know how it is. I'm sitting there trying to multitask, trying to do 10 different things at once. I don't know, like, always doing something, man. But
look at this upcoming card. Why don't we get into this upcoming card where we have Israel Adesanya versus Pereira?
Yeah, here's the thing. If he loses that, does he walk away? If Izzy loses that, does he walk away? Or
no way. I get so mad when people say that, because this is the top of the top. You've made it all the way to the top. I could see how it would be so frustrating, though, right? Because even in the last fight, actually, all 3 fights now, Israel Adesanya was winning a good majority of them and got caught with the same thing he lost to in their previous fight.
Now, here's the thing, though, right? So everyone's talking about, the matchup, but everyone also forgets, like that's probably the Izzy's kryptonite, even to the point where Alex was in Anderson's corner when they fought Izzy and Anderson Silva. So, like, they've been doing a lot of work on it. So if anyone has, like, the most intimate knowledge on it, it's Alex. So here's my thing. Do you think Alex can pull it off one more time? Or is Izzy going to get his redemption?
This is what happens. It's the fear, right? Francis Ngannou coming up. Look what he did to Alistair Overeem. Going into the Stipe fight, there's a fear. There's a level of fear for Israel Adesanya going into this. You can't tell me that inside of his own head, this man has turned into a monster that he fears, knowing what has happened over and over again. However, he's played such a great game plan. But in that last round, Steve, he kind of got comfortable again and took the guard down and got caught. This time around, I think Israel Adesanya could figure it out. Look at all of Alex's last opponents. They had not a clue. They could not get by this guy. They were just knocked out, stone cold, and some good fighters too, like Sean Strickland. Now, Israel Adesanya got to play smart. He's got to really go in here and make a statement. But that statement might just be a safer side that Israel Adesanya is going to play, much like Anderson Silva, Damian Maia.
So you think we might be extremely let down in this next fight, and we might see the type of style of a fight that upsets Dana?
He's going to just try to point fight. And I hope not, because you go into these fights, what are the statistics, Steve? It's like in a rematch, usually the person loses again.
But we've also seen where that doesn't necessarily play out as well. You know what I mean?
That's true too.
I'm just wondering if
after Uriah Faber, right?
I mean, Izzy can't play it safe. He
Diaz.
needs to get him out of there. He needs to put a statement on this fight. But I think I agree with you where we might see a little reserved Izzy. Where
Also,
we might see a little point fighting and frustrating because we're not seeing the explosiveness that we're used to seeing from the style bender.
so you're saying that it's really going to knock his ego down so much to the point where if
I don't think it knocked his ego down. I just think he's more aware of what's going on with it now. They've been in that ring, in that cage, for almost an hour now.
Dominic Cruz, Daniel Cormier, John Jones, just frustrating shit. Is he gonna cry? Is he gonna cry?
Is he gonna cry?
I mean, who do you hope wins this fight, Steve? Because I really do hope.
I'd like to see Izzy take it back, but I'm not opposed to watching Alex hold the belt for a while. You know what I mean? We've seen a lot of guys just get so close and just not get there, or get there and not be able to defend it. Alex has the belt. Shouldn't he be able to defend it? Is one of the things why I'm not always 100% on the immediate rematch. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where I could see it in some points, like, yeah, he was winning most of the fight, and then Alex won.
Well, listen, if I gave you $1,000, because I'm thinking about it in my head, if I had $1,000 and I give you $1,000, who would you put it on? I think I
would
actually might put it on
not bet on the fight.
Yeah, exactly. And also, most of that money, 10% of that money goes to the pay-per-view, which is insane to think about. But I think I would actually go with Alex. But the co-main event on this card is very similar to where the mental state is for Max Holloway as well. He was a champion, got beat, and now this is the new king above him. So kind of, iconic that you have Max Holloway as the co-main event, especially if Israel Adesanya loses. Then they're in the same boat.
It's an interesting situation, and even more interesting, I guess. Let's backtrack it again. Was the Holly Holm fight? Holly's what, 41 now? Made a big statement after the fight with her beliefs on protecting children and things of that nature.
Yeah,
and then we get these idiots on social media that just can't.
They just talk out of their butt. They talk out of their ass nonstop.
So I came across this on my Facebook, and
Jeff,
more or less, this gentleman felt the need to put it out there that he feels that Miss Holm isn't 100%
natural.
Isn't 100% natural, that she's using some type of enhancement.
Pull that up one more time. There's one line that I gotta read for everybody. He says, "There's no way in hell she is natural. She's 41 and she looks like she chiseled out of stone. No way she is natural. And if you think I'm lying, Holly, go ahead. I'd love to get you under oath in court, bro." Like, this guy's upset, Steve. This guy tosses and turns.
I don't know if he lost a bet or
yeah, dude, that's exactly what happened, bro.
He must have. I don't know, man.
He lost the bet. He lost a big bet.
I mean, I've been, and that wasn't the only thing that upset me. I was on social afterwards, and people were like, this one person said that Holly just blew her and her kid off at some event. I don't know. I was on set with her or for Fight Valley.
Oh, story time.
At some points in time when they were on set getting ready to do things. Absolutely, because she's getting ready to do what she needed to do. But once those scenes were done and everything was getting out to it, she was outside and she didn't turn anyone away. She was signing autographs for this, that, and the third. I just hate those situations where you see people get upset about someone's beliefs and they try to find anything they can do to kind of tear that person down and bring them to, they're doing this wrong, they're doing that wrong. I don't necessarily feel that's the case. So obviously I had to say something about it. What is she reserved? Yeah, like not every setting you run into an athlete, are they going to or should they have to sign anything or take pictures? Like they're human beings at the end of the day. They're not robots. They're not programmed to do things the way that everyone thinks they should. It's just not how it happens. And Eddie ran off, so where he's going now. Where you at, bro?
I'm right here. You don't hear these fucking animals fighting behind me. I got rats fighting behind me, bro. But getting back to what you're just saying there, it's really a sad thing when you are a kid and you're trying to get an autograph and you're not able to get it. So, of course, as the parent, they would be a little upset, right?
I mean, I get it, being upset about it, but like to sit there and go on a post and basically just try to rip the person down it's just beyond me anymore. It's like what we were talking about a few weeks ago, where you see Rey Mysterio's daughter basically go out in public and said she's not signing anything for anyone unless it's a personal photo of her and said person.
Wait, whoa, who's Rey Mysterio's daughter? Like, is this the same kid that
it's Rhea something? I forget. You know, it's something I ran across the other day. If you want, you can Google it. She's basically
Eddie Guerrero,
saying like she was being harassed at an airport with these guys, and they got all these stuff for them to sign. My thing, unless it's one or two things for one person or the two people that are there, you don't have to sign it. I just sign one or two things and go on your way. If you don't want to do it all because you feel like it's one of these people who go and signs them, have them sign, and then go throw it up on eBay to go make some money off it, absolutely. Go tell them to go pound sand. That's your prerogative at that point in time because that's how you feel. Unless we're at an actual signing or an event where they're supposed to be doing things, you shouldn't expect anything from any athlete.
Well, at the same time, Steve, the way that she addressed it, you know,
I mean, I didn't care how she addressed it, but at that point in time, you're frustrated and beyond the point of irritated with it. Like, we don't know how it is.
But is she like a big celebrity or something?
We're not.
Like,
we're not in those airports to see how they are, and it is crazy at times, dude. You know how like the paparazzi type things go, and fans get overzealous with some things like that and feel like they're entitled to things. I agree with her shutting it down to a point, but to sit there and just say I'm only going to do a photo of me and said person, I didn't agree with that aspect of it. But like I said, like when you're being bombarded every time you're either going to or from an airport, it gets maddening at a point in time, you know.
How much of an issue do you think it really is, though? Here's our we got.
Well, I guess let's hop into it now because we're getting ready to hop into the next segment right here. And with that being said, we're going to be joined by our first guest of the afternoon, and it's going to be Miss Touch Him Up herself, Miss Amber Leibrock. Amber, how are we doing this afternoon?
What's up? How are you guys?
We're great.
I had to get my hair cut really quick, so I rushed on over. But I'm here. Hey, how are you?
We're doing great. How you been, my friend? It's been a little while since we caught up. Obviously, things change for you. Things change for us.
No, everything's been really good over here. I'm actually gonna turn this.
There we are.
There we go. That's better for me. I've actually been really good. Just been training a lot. Getting ready for this PFL debut, and it's been pretty same around these parts.
So how excited are you for the PFL tournament? Obviously, I think that me and Eddie were talking before you came on. The big grabber for you guys going to PFL is getting a chance at that $1 million check, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously, that's gonna be kind of a driving point for anybody. They offer you a spot in a tournament where you're gonna win $1 million. Like you gotta, jump on it.
And especially when you're in a weight class where that's not really deep, you don't have 5'10", girls who are going to be going for it with a lot of hype around them. You're probably one of the more recognizable names in that mix to earn that potential $1 million check.
Yeah,
isn't that one of the things to be excited for? Like you're probably one of the favorites going into it as it's starting.
Really, you guys think? I wouldn't.
I do.
I don't know.
A lot of people.
I do. I mean, I look.
Hey, you are
Go ahead, Eddie.
You're the fight before the co-main event for a reason, Amber. Like, come on, this is a great card. We're very familiar with who you are over the last couple of years. Your social media, you are all over it with some great top photography. I mean, of course they're going to push you, but not for the looks, for your talent. I don't want you to get that mixed up or think that you don't deserve the spot that you have, because you've earned that spot.
Yeah, for sure. No, thank you guys really so much for saying that. Like, that means so much to me. I just kind of felt like, because all these girls have already fought in this tournament, you know, that I was like kind of like unknown. But I guess I forget that, you know, like so many people have been following my career for so long, and like I really have been doing this for almost 10 years. Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of like a really surreal moment for me. I still don't think it's like really fully hit me, like that I'm about to fight like PFL, like against one of their top girls and like one of the top organizations again in the world. And I think it's not going to really fully hit me, like the magnitude of where I'm at right now, until I actually get to Vegas and like I check into the hotel and like, you know, all that fun fighter stuff.
On top of it all, you get to go to Vegas to top it all off. I mean,
Yeah.
that is just super exciting, because I've never been to Vegas. I'm a huge Fear and Loathing fan. I want to go there and party. But as a fighter, to get to go there and do what you get to do, and the level of just, you know, anxiety ticking in, all the senses with all the lights, you must feel like a freaking rock star going there as a fighter.
This is not my first time in Vegas. I made my pro debut in Vegas. I fought a bunch of times in Vegas as an amateur. I made my pro Muay Thai debut in Vegas. Vegas is second home. I'm out in Vegas literally like a couple times a year. I go over there and I train with Jocelyn Edwards. Like, I stop in the Extreme, like jump in as many classes as I can, you know, whenever I'm in town. So yeah, like it almost feels like I'm going back home. It's kind of like, you know, I did make my pro debut there against Marina Shafir, and this is kind of like, I don't know, it's just kind of bringing back a lot of nostalgic feelings, and, you know, fighting at the Virgin Theater where the UFC was just at. Like, I don't know, I feel so blessed and grateful to have this opportunity. And honestly, I don't feel any kind of like anxious nerves. Well, at least not yet. Like, I just can't stop feeling just like super blessed to be where I'm at and like have this opportunity in front of me and be back in Vegas, like fighting back in Vegas, like under those lights. Like, I just want to shine so bright, and I just cannot wait.
Oh man, like the first fight that you had in Vegas, can you kind of paint this picture? Because you walked up in Vegas and you got like a 31-second knockout on your pro debut. I mean, how the hell do you top that? That's one way to start a career right there.
Well, you know, it kind of like all led up. So I got involved in this. I was a last minute replacement as an amateur. I was 1-1, right? And I got this last minute replacement to fight Pam Sorensen for a Invicta contract. It was a pro Invicta contract, and I had like 6 days or something like that. And they were like, "Hey, look, man," like, it was for Tough Enough. They're like, "Hey, man, look, like, we know you're coming in on 6 days. You just have a good fight. We'll give you another we'll give you another fight. Like, you know, you're the," I was like, I don't know, maybe the 12th person that they had like tried to find to like fill this spot. So I get there, 6 days, make the weight, do what I did, sleep Pam Sorensen, come
in
back,
25 seconds.
Yeah, beat Paola, I can't really remember her name. I think that was it. In like a 3-round, we had like a whole 3-round fight, broke my hand. Then like a couple months later, I was making my debut at the Cosmopolitan in Vegas, fighting Marina Shafir, who had the most hype behind her. And then, you know, I knocked her out in 37 seconds. The fight before that, she had just got knocked out in 37 seconds. So it was just like this big, like, holy shit, you know, it was like a fast roller coaster to some pretty memorable moments in my career. That's for sure.
And it's crazy how both of your careers have gone differently. She's now in AEW wrestling, and you're getting ready to potentially fight for $1 million here in PFL. Like
That was
I
the
know
last fight. I don't think she
there
ever
saying
fought
you
again.
don't feel like you're one of these ones, but as Eddie, as you're naming it right now, you've done all this stuff. You fought in Invicta. You fought in Bellator. Why not? Why not be feeling like this is your time? This is your chance to do it. You put the work in. You fought in some of the tougher girls out there in your division.
Yeah, no, for sure. I really have, and I think that this matchup I have, like, it's a great matchup. I really have been on, like, in the scene, like, fighting some of the best in the world, and like I'm so confident going into this fight. Like, I feel so good. I've never felt this ready or this prepared for a fight. You know, I've been training with some of the best teams in the world. Obviously, I'm over at CSA, but I also like been training nonstop with the guys over at El Nino. Gilbert Melendez has really like helped elevate my game. Adam Piccolotti, who we just watched in Bellator choke someone out, like he's really like, that's his baby right there. That's Adam Piccolotti's baby. We call him Baby Bomb. You know, Adam has really like changed my life as a fighter. He's really like put that dog back in me, and I'm just so excited to go out there and put it all on the line and like show the world, like, you know, what they've been missing, and that's me.
To top it all off, right? You're talking about your pro debut and everything. The one fight I think everyone wants back would be the Megan Anderson fight. Do you ever think that will come into play for you?
No, she'll not. I don't think she'll fight again. At least from the conversations I've had, like, you know, obviously she worked for Invicta or works for Invicta. So my last fight over there, you know, she did like interview me and stuff, and it doesn't sound like she's going to fight again, but she, you know, if I could have a fight back, it'd be that fight and the Jessica Baraga fight. Like, those are two fights I would definitely want back. I would like to fight Arlene again too. But I don't think Arlene will, you know, I think Arlene will be with Bellator for, you know, till the end of whatever it is she's doing. But those are the three fights that I would love to have back. And yeah, so, you know, it is what it is. If I can't, like, I'm on to bigger and better things. Like, this tournament has so many amazing girls, and I just cannot wait to get in there and exchange some energy with them. You know, I think that, yes, I'm very like well known. I've done a good job of like staying in people's eyes, even though I haven't been fighting as much as some of these girls. But as far as it comes to PFL, like, I'm a brand new face. There's a lot of people don't really know like me, you know, all these girls, they've all been in the tournament for 55 for like the last 3 years. Like, I'm kind of a dark horse. I don't think anybody expected to see my name on that list, on that roster when they put it out there. And, you know, I'm a true 45er. Like, I'm going to come in, I'm going to make the weight like a professional. I've grown into being a 45er. I think I'm the tallest girl, like, on the roster right now, and I don't think they know enough
Use that
about
range,
me.
homie. Use that range.
Yeah, and anything you see of me, like my past Bellator fights, like, I'm not that fighter anymore. And if that's the stuff that people are watching, trying to get a game plan off of me, like, they're gonna have like a whole lot of shit to figure out, because I'm a brand new fighter, like, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, like 110%. Like, it's a completely different person walking into that cage in a week.
See, I love that. It's something me and Eddie talk about a lot too. Like when athletes get older and start to kind of figure things out, sometimes their body fails them before their mind catches up to where their game is, and sometimes it takes taking some time away, not fighting, you know, 4 or 5 times a year to kind of fill the holes in your game, find yourself mentally, put everything together. It's not, everyone thinks it's just about the technique and the things you drill in practice. There's so many different things to get to the top level that an athlete needs. Sometimes you're not in the right gym. Sometimes you don't quite have the right coach. And as you're already sitting there letting everyone know, like, you've been working with CSA, you're going to work with Gil and them guys down there. You're putting the work in to kind of fill those holes, you know?
Yeah. And I think back when I was, you know, I didn't really have much of an amateur career. I kind of grew in the sport. And I think when I was in Bellator, like, mentally, I just wasn't ready to be like where I was. And I mean, if anybody can lose as many times as I did that year and come back with still like fire in their heart, like resilience is my thing. And it's going to be really hard to stop me in this tournament. I'm coming, I'm coming full force. It's not going to be me that beats myself anymore. Like if someone happens to beat me, it's because they were purely better than me that night. It wasn't because I went in there like, I worked with my hypnotherapist, Richard Hart, and when we first started, we did a lot of talking about how it was me versus me and them, and now this time it's me and me versus them. So it's a completely different game, and I'm excited to show that.
That's awesome. Like you've really trained not just physically but mentally how to not get in your own way at this point. I love that. That's totally inspiring, especially with your social media. You like to push a lot of this energy out there, and it shows so much about you. For anyone out there coming across you, you're hard to not root for on this one. And we want to wish you nothing but the best going to PFL. It's so exciting, especially the first round finishes for you and your opponent who just fought Kayla Harrison herself and wasn't able to get the victory. And at 6 foot, getting a 3-inch advantage, I like those odds. I got money on you going into this thing. So I got.
I'm sure she's the underdog after what happened in her opponent's last fight. But it's one of those beautiful things where that means all the pressure's not on Amber this time.
I have no pressure. You know what I mean? I've got everything to gain. I've got nothing to lose. Like, you know what I mean? I've been an underdog before. I want to be an underdog now. People are going to be surprised when I go into that cage and the crowd is rooting for me, because I'm going to have so many people there. And I have no problem building myself back and showing people what it really is. Go ahead, root against me, count me out, because it's not going to be that easy, and I'm coming with everything I've got. And I've got nothing to lose. I've got everything to gain. There's no pressure on me,
The last thing I want to throw out there to you, I am going to bet $19.96. What does that number mean to you? 1996.
1996. What's on my face? Where is it? This one?
Yep, right there.
1996 is the year my father passed away. So it's something that I hold close to me. My father died when I was 8 years old. So it's like my driving force. You know what I mean? So one of them, my other driving force is obviously my 3 brothers that I have. So holding my father close to me and everything that happened, if people know some of my story, they know, I didn't grow up very easily. My childhood was pretty rough, and that was part of it. It wasn't all of it, but that was definitely part of it. And so I just like to remember where I've come from, remember the struggle. I don't try to hide from it. And he's on my shoulders and he's guiding me through this one. And
I find a lot of beauty in that because I've been through a very similar incident in my life, and I find it's so inspiring to deal with something like that and not end up in the gutter. You yourself have come so far where you probably shouldn't have, and I think that is so special.
If you ask anybody I grew up with, and they would have took it back 10 years or something, I was the one that was supposed to end up on drugs with a bunch of kids, living poor, in and out of jail, all messed up, and there was a point in my life where I was going down that path, and fighting literally is the reason that I stopped going down that path. And people are like, oh, that might sound so cliche, but it's true. Fighting saved my life, which is why I give my whole life to this, because it wouldn't have fell in my lap the way it did at the time it did if I wasn't supposed to be here.
That is such a beautiful story, Steve. Another one that really has such a glow around her. So coming up on the 4th, April 7th, for PFL. And at this point in the interview, what we like to do is send the imaginary microphone over to you. If you have any sponsors, shout outs, social media, the floor is now all yours.
Yeah, of course. So I would like to first, thank my sponsors over at NorCal Towing, All Bronze Towing out here in Hayward, California. My sponsors over at Rich and Flesh Tattoo, my guy OC, he hooks me up, and Rich and Flesh Barbershop, where I was getting my hair cut before I jumped on. Of course, I want to thank all my teammates and coaches over at CSA, all my teammates and coaches at El Nino. I want to thank my hypnotherapist, Richard Hart. I want to thank my PT, Hayden, and everybody that just kind of works with me. My best friend Jess, who is always there for me, supporting me all the way.
Shout out Jesse Jess.
Jess, yeah. I want to be in such a good mental space if it wasn't for her. And yeah, just thank you to everyone that supports me and loves me and is rooting for me, or even not rooting for me, like you will be after this.
We always got love for you here on Belly Up. Me and Eddie. We obviously, we've been doing this a long time. 3, 4, 5 years. Always try to catch you before the fights. Best of skill as always, Amber. We'll definitely get you back on here, win, lose, or draw after the fact.
For sure.
Talk some fights, talk some life, and have some shenanigans on here.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Amber. Appreciate the time. We'll definitely get back with you. All right, everyone. That was Amber Leibrock, and a little switch up here. Pat was supposed to be on the first half. Things happen in life, but we are now being joined by the Brick, Mr. Patrick Brady. How are we doing this evening, my friend?
Gentlemen, how are we?
We're great, man. Just dealing with life as always. Obviously, you know how that goes. You just had to get the little ones to sleep and all that.
I apologize.
I do the same thing over here. Try to get everyone quiet. My dog is normally the one who's a loudmouth, trying to let everyone know he's here, but that's besides the point. How long did it take the kids to wind down for you? Like almost an hour, right?
I actually have 3 boys, so I have an 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, and the youngest is almost 2. So the 2-year-old actually has to be physically, you have to lay down with him in order to get him down.
Oh, I know. He needs to feel you next to him before he starts nodding out.
No, he does too. It's funny. He makes sure that somebody's there. But the other 2 assholes, I could just kick them. I could just kick them in the ass and get to bed, you little shits.
And you show up at the gym and they're like, "We didn't give you those black and blues. Where'd those come from?" Yeah.
I might be a little busted up, right? I feel like I always have a black eye.
Yeah, you got a nice little shiner down there, man. Listen, we are so excited for this PFL debut, 5-0, man. I watched your fights. You slam, and I don't know how these guys' souls don't go right up to heaven when you slam somebody, bro.
Bro, my last opponent, I feel like he was half silverback, man. Like, I hit him. I hit him so hard. I hit him with some really hard shots. There were a couple of overhands that would have put other fighters in trances. I mean, but he withstood the challenge, and that fight went to a decision, and obviously it went my way because I'm undefeated, and this next one is going to be a wild fight, brother.
Oh man, I definitely can't wait for this one. Obviously, me and you talked before. This is a big opportunity now. Obviously, this is one of those ones we were talking about. Like PFL was one of those places that you could potentially land. Is that $1 million contract all but one of the things that you're really chomping your bit to get a hold of?
Bro, honestly, I don't give a fuck about $1 million. Like, I get it. It's cool. It's enticing to a lot of people. But, my eyes aren't on $1 million. My eyes are on winning this fight, right? Like, I have one fight. I don't have 4 fights. I'm not, I know it's a tournament, but, I have one fight right now. I have one fight. So, that's where I'm at, and that's where my head needs to be. I'm already I was a short notice guy. PFL had reached out to me about a Challenger Series fight, and I declined it. I didn't want to do a Challenger Series fight. Like, I didn't want a chance to be in this tournament,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's either you're in or you're in. I'm not fighting my way in.
Damn, Greg Velasco just won. Sorry. I got CFFC on the TV.
It's all right.
Off now because
you got to show the local promo some love. They're right down there at 2300 the arena in South Philly.
Yeah. So that Greg Velasco, he's their heavyweight champion. Well, he just won, so now he's 6-0. He was also 5-0. Him and I have kind of been like the two heavyweights
in the area, right?
In the area, along with Ian Austin.
Whoa, hold up. Philly's got more than just you guys in the UFC. Wait, brothers, right?
I think it's so ridiculous. The national media does not give Philly enough credit for the fighters that they've been pumping out the last 5 years.
No, I think what I'm referring to is the regional heavyweight scene.
Yeah.
The regional heavyweight scene, it was kind of me and Velasco. It's at the top, right? And then I'm no longer regional, right, boys?
Hey, yeah.
You're out of that. You can't say you're in the regional no more, man.
I can no longer say I'm a regional fighter, which is pretty cool, you know.
I actually thought the prettiest cool thing about it the last few months was the management company you signed with Iridium. That's gold right there, brother.
What's that? I'm sorry, bud.
You signing with Iridium.
Yeah. So Iridium, dude, they're a fucking. You like that picture? Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm distracted.
Go back, Eddie. Go back.
So that is the joke is Patrick Sabatini and Sean Brady equals Patrick Brady. And Jeremiah.
Meanwhile, I don't think you put them two together and they make your weight.
Yeah, I know. We were cracking up at the gym, man. We were all just so I've been cross training over at Marquez, and John Marquez has been holding mitts for me and really working on some of my striking. And I've really, been hitting off with Sean and Pat and Jeremiah and Joey and those guys over there. And Jeremiah,
everyone sleeps on him. He's probably one of the freakiest, strongest guys at 170 pounds.
Bro, he is a savage. He's I had a conversation with him. He was like, bro, I like to think he puts himself in like his state of mind. He's like, bro, I put myself in like I make myself as scared as I possibly can be. And then I turn that fear into aggression. Jeremiah is a killer.
His mind is like, it's crazy.
Terrifying.
Well, I see.
Go ahead, Eddie.
I've watched you get ready as well, Patrick. I've watched some like news coverages and a lot of videos on you getting ready, man. And you sit back there in the zone. You're like, just let me know when it's like 6:15. And they're like, dude, it's in 45 seconds. And you just get out and you go, bro. Like,
yeah. So I learned from Joey Pfeiffer, right? So I came up through Art of War with Joe Pfeiffer. And he was like always the main event before when I was an amateur and I was on the undercard.
Well, and I would almost killed Adam Ayatea, he automatically became the main event in the area.
Yeah, well then Joey went up and went to the Contender Series fight. Then it was Andre who was always the main event, right? And then when Andre went to the UFC, then I started becoming the main event. So I think I main evented 3 Art of War shows, and Joey I think main evented 4 or 5, and Andre the same thing, like 4 or 5. But I'm actually getting inducted into the Art of War Hall of Fame, who the only 2 Hall of Fame members as of right now are Joey and Andre, and then I get inducted in June. But what I was saying about like my demeanor before I fight is Joey always was like, yo, save all of your energy for the fight. Just like chill. Even that nervous energy is you using energy. Like if you get your heart rate going because you're thinking about this or thinking about that, like you're using energy, bro. Like your body thinks it's in a fight. If you're thinking about the fight, your body thinks that you're in a fight, He's like, just chill, fucking chill. And, my warm up is I like to hit the mitts for 3 2-minute rounds. And the first 2-minute round of me warming up is just technique. Second one is I dial it up a little bit. And then on the third 2-minute rounds, I turn it up to like 75%. And I don't ever hit the mitts 100% before a fight, just because I found if you're throwing punches at 100%, your technique isn't always really there. So I try not to really throw 100%.
But at the same time, your 75% is probably like my 150% out there, especially like, so you do like home remodeling, don't you?
I do home remodeling, yeah. So I have my own renovations company. It's called Renovations by Brady. I do, kitchens, bathrooms, basements, small additions, exteriors. And I'm really blessed, guys. I'm really fortunate in the fact that, like, I do well financially, right? So like I said earlier, the financial incentive for me, I mean, look, no, I'm not saying
It's
$1 million.
cool, but it's not the main factor.
This
It's
is
not.
what everyone claims, though. I've heard this from every PFL fighter.
Yeah, but
Listen,
some people just say it for the sake of saying it. Pat's like
no,
I
really
really do why I
like,
do this.
Yeah, I really mean it. Like, I get it. Everyone says they don't give a shit about the $1 million, but there are fighters in the PFL that all they do is fight, right? Yeah. Like, I'm a full-time dad. I have my own company, so I'm running that. And then, like, fighting, I kind of just picked up as like a hobby, right? Like, it was like, all right, I want to get in shape. I'll have some fun. And then, like, I started winning some fights, and then I met a lot of good people, like the Dawkins brothers, and the obvious, guys, my best friend. So then I just kind of like got engulfed into this MMA scene, and apparently I'm pretty good. And I kept winning fights, and now it's like I'm thrusted into this situation where I'm fighting for a premier organization in the PFL, flying out to Las Vegas, right, to fight on ESPN Plus in front of thousands of people at the Virgin Theater Hotel. It's like, shit, man, I didn't think this was going to happen. It's like, I had no intentions on any of this happening. And, it kind of just fell in my lap a couple weeks ago. They're like, Jason House and Iridium, like we had mentioned earlier, reached out to me. It's like,
shout out, Jason.
Oh, yeah, I was in the gym and he called me, and I missed it because we had a striking practice. And then I looked at my phone after striking practice before MMA practice, and he had called me, and he never really calls me. It's always a text message. And I had a missed call, and then followed by a text message that said PFL tournament ? And I turned to Chris, and I was like, PFL? And he was like, fucking right, let's go, baby. So, and then it was like, we found out the fights in, a couple weeks, and it was like, shit. And I just found out who I was actually fighting, 2 weeks ago. So, I've kind of just been balls to the walls, man. Like,
of course,
I've been going a couple days a week. I've been doing 2-a-days. I've been on the bike every day, and then I've been at practice every day, which, in all honesty, I typically don't practice every day. I do some type of cardio and weight training every day, but I typically don't go into the gym every day. But since I've gotten the call, and that since I found out who my opponent was, I've been in the gym every day.
Not only that, Patrick, but your opponent is kind of like a seasoned guy. He's got like 30 or 40 fights. He's like 25-10 or something like that. So
10, and he's a seasoned veteran that's also a decade younger than me.
Wow.
That's the crazy part, right?
Yeah, he's 30 years old, and he has 35 fights. I'm 39, and I have 5 fights.
That's so wild.
I think altogether, if you include your amateur career, I think you're over 10 that way, right?
Yeah, I'm over 10, but amateurs, they don't obviously.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's
check out my shirt, Performance Meal Prep. What's up?
There you go.
Hey, there's one
Gotta get the
thing
sponsors some
that
love, right?
Yeah.
there's one thing that separates you from most, probably 99% of all MMA fighters. I heard a crazy story about you and Joe Frazier or something like that. You and
Oh yeah, Joe Frazier. Well, I met Joe Frazier when I was like I did a little bit of boxing training after college, and I met Joe Frazier. I'm trying to block this glare from getting in the photo. I met Joe Frazier. He came into the boxing gym, and at this point, he was older and decrepit. Like he was hunched over and he was in bad shape. But I was hitting a heavy bag, and I was kind of like long, and like my legs were kind of open, hitting a heavy bag. And he comes up to me and he grabs my shoulders and he squares up my shoulders and he grabs my waist and he tightens up my waist and he goes, "You're too big to be that long." He's like, tighten up, get your hands up, tighten up. Slip and rip, slip and rip. It was pretty cool, man.
it's
You
like
hear
a
that
scene from
Joe?
Rocky, bro. Like, come on,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, Joe Frazier. Yeah, man.
What the hell was he doing there? He was just going in there and being
Yeah,
like,
he had known a couple of the guys that were in that gym, and I think they just were like, "Hey, we're gonna bring in the champ." You know, are you going up, love? Okay. Sorry, my wife's going up to bed. Everyone say hi to my wife.
hello, hello. You know, how does she feel that you're leaving to go all the way to Vegas? Like,
She hates it, man. She hates it.
The laugh says it all.
Yeah, I know. She's coming out to the fight. She's gonna fly out Friday morning, and then she's gonna come Friday night to the fight, obviously, and then we're actually gonna stay Saturday night. Her brother coincidentally lives in Las Vegas
oh wow,
and is a doctor in the Air Force, and he's stationed at the Las Vegas Air Force Base. So he works at one of the hospitals over there. And so we're going to go out to dinner with him and his wife, and then we're going to go see Circus Soleil Saturday night.
yo, that
Yeah. Yeah,
Soleil.
so it's
Come
cool,
on.
but she hates fighting. She hates it, man. She's just like,
Really, that's
Is she the one that takes all the nerves?
yeah, she's a nurse too, and like
That's
her,
why.
yeah, her father's an orthopedic surgeon, so like they're like well rounded in like trauma and like what happens to the body in like traumatic situations, and I think she just loves me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
come on.
she's the one that's like, I don't want to be in like 5 years be the one having to carry
yeah,
you up the steps. And
yeah, what a bitch.
I get it.
You know, it kind of strikes home with me as well, though, because you worry about the people you love. Like my mom just got her CAT scan or MRI back, and she has multiple sclerosis, and they're finding like
Yeah.
more holes in her brain and stuff. You worry about the people that you love. So
Yeah, I mean, it comes from a place of love, and like we were talking about earlier, I don't really need the money. You know what I mean? So she's like, "What are you doing?" Like,
yeah,
we
what do
don't.
you what do you what
Well,
do
I
you
mean, you
do this
can't
for?
blame like, when you get situations. It's like, what am I doing? Well, I mean, I've started this. I've been putting all this time and effort into it. If I have
Yeah.
this opportunity, I should take it
So I'm
while I
knocking
can.
people out.
Like, to be honest with you, this is where I'm at with it. Like, there's a couple different reasons why I do it. One of the reasons is because of my boys, right? My three sons. Like, I want them when they get older, I want them to look at their father and say, like, he did something that was great, right?
Yeah,
Like, he did something in his old age, and he achieved something that not too many people are capable and can say they achieved, right?
wow.
That
Yeah.
being said, so in 2016, I got sober, right? I don't know if I ever told you guys this story, if we talked about it last time, but
No,
in
but
2000,
you don't resonate with that. You keep going, brother.
yeah. So in 2016, I got sober. I checked into Miramont Treatment Facility, and I spent 21 days there, right? And I coined out, and I never looked back. I've been in AA. I'm active in my recovery. I have a sponsor. I sponsor guys. I go to meetings. I actually just spoke at a meeting on Tuesday. I'm extremely active in my recovery, right? that being said, when I was in college and I played college football, I did a lot of drinking and a lot of drugging, and I kind of like I was athletic. I played middle linebacker, and I was really good, but I kind of like threw that whole thing away. You know, I did I lose you guys? Are you still there?
No, we're just putting you solo.
We're still here. Put you solo.
Yeah. I threw that away. You know what I mean? I swindled an opportunity to really excel at football. Even before that, in high school, my junior year in high school, I got a DUI. I was driving up the mountains and I hit a tree and I went through my windshield. It was a whole situation. And I had some good Division I scholarship offers that were on the table at my junior year. But as a result of getting a DUI, you know, everybody kind of just ran from me. So, you know, my drinking and drugging like cost me a lot in my life, like in an earlier age. And then, like I said, in 2016, I got sober. I was 32 years old. And then if you look at my Tapology, I didn't make my MMA debut until 2018. So 2016, I really focused on my recovery and making sure that, you know, I was doing all the right things and making all the right decisions. And then come 2017, I started getting my body in shape. You know, the mind got right, the body followed. And then, you know, I made my MMA debut in 2018, and the rest is history. So what I'm doing is with this is like, I don't want to be 45 and say like, I could have did it, you know, I could have done it. And then I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, what do they say? The price of the tab for regret, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Man, I was about to say that. Like you're in one of those situations where you don't want to be the coulda, shoulda, wouldas, or having any regrets, and like you just want to say, I at least put myself out there to do this.
Yeah, I don't want to look back at this and be like, shit, man, I should have went for it, you know? So I'm going for it. Look, man, everybody else in this tournament has like 10 plus fights. I think the next guy above me has 13 fights, right? I have 5. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at the roster, that heavyweight roster, they're all super experienced fighters. You know, all super experienced fighters.
Got more
and then there's me
in there too. It's like that.
Yeah, and then there's me at 5-0. And like, if you look at the on Tapology, my fight, it's like I think it's like 97% of the people.
Oh, they vote for who wins.
All voted for him. You know what I mean? To win, because I'm the underdog here, brother, and that's okay. My position is that makes me the scariest one because I got nothing to lose.
Yeah,
exactly what
you know what I mean? I got nothing to lose. I'm supposed to lose this fight. If I go in there and lose, then it's like, okay, well, that's how that's supposed to go. So I got nothing to lose. I'm gonna go in there and I'm going to put my chin down and my hands up, and I'm going to let my hands fly because fuck it. Why not? You know what I mean? Like, why the fuck not? I'm excited, man. I'm excited to go out there. We fly out Sunday morning. Chris is flying out with me, Chris Dawkins. And
of course, Chris is there, right?
Yeah,
I got to ask you that. Like, obviously, they've been having a rough go of it lately. You know, the MMA gods haven't been kind to Chris and Kyle. How do you think their things are going to play out for them over the next year? I know they're your teammates, they're your guys.
Chris, I'm not going to break any news for Chris, but
there's something coming then.
There's something coming down the pipeline, and it's going to be a little bit of a change for him.
That's good.
Oh, snap.
I mean, I think he was really close. He was really close to kind of breaking that top 10 and started getting some of those bigger fights. And he just had some tough luck in there. You know what I mean?
I don't know that it's tough luck or like, bro, look at who he fought.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I mean, he fought fucking Derek Lewis, Curtis Blades, fucking Rosenstruck. Like, he fought killers. He wasn't fighting no fucking pushovers, man.
But it was like when he was coming up, the way that he was winning these fights, knocking people out, these guys would just drop. You could not help but want to see something like that. But according to, management, sometimes they don't handle these situations the best when you're in the UFC. You got to be real careful.
It's a fucking dog eat dog world out there. And once that cage closes, it's like there's guys at Chris fought that thought they were going to beat him. They got fucking flatlined. You know what I mean? Like everybody thinks they're going to win when they get in the cage and the door closes. Like, so, at the end of the day, it's somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. And unfortunately, sometimes you lose multiple times in a row. So Chris is fucking good. Chris is fucking tough as nails, and he's fucking super skilled and super talented. And those two brothers are so athletic, man. Like you guys don't realize it, but like they're athletes. You know what I mean? Like they're not just fighters; they're fucking super athletes.
Yeah, I know.
Both of them are really good at lacrosse, and they're super coordinated. And they're going to be fine. And Kyle, I think Kyle's looking to do a Bellator or even a PFL, but PFL doesn't carry a middleweight division. So,
I think we might see him take over Bellator.
Yeah, he's got a couple things coming down the pipeline too. So,
looking forward to seeing what the Dawkins brothers does. I always got love for them since when my kids trained there back a few years ago.
Yeah,
they're got some love and respect for what they do.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, the sport's not for the fucking faint hearted. So
yeah, right. And talking about craziness, I got to give Pat some love, man. Eddie already knows. We've already talked about it on here. Going through the nonsense with Mr. Dumbass last month.
What's that?
When I had the guy ask me for money for the interview, and you're like, wait a minute.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Pat's one of the few people who did comment.
I that dude lost too.
Not only that he lost, after the fact, he was on social media crying like oh, we need to run it back and da 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 da. Like, oh, it was I wasn't right that night. Like, what does that mean? I wasn't right that night. Like. Are we just making excuses after the fight,
if you won, were you gonna say I was right, or like it is what it is, man? Like you lose. If you win, like it is what it is. Like what are we fucking talking about? But that that just goes to show with like some of these younger guys out there. You know what I mean? He's just.
And listen, I said that whole situation was goofy just because of how everything went down.
Yeah, and I've heard other guys say before that like they look for money for interviews, but like it's few and far between, and it's like any norm. It's not necessary. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Are you trying to make $100?
One of the things I said, like, if I was asking him to leave his area to go do X, Y, and Z, if I'm not asking for something that like taken away from your personal time,
bro,
I could see someone saying like, hey, I need $50, $100, whatever. But if I'm just asking you in between your free time to take care of whatever, there's no point for that.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And it's one of the things like I've only had two people ever do that to me. One was a former NFL player that was on 3 major shows, ESPN, all this stuff. So I understood why his manager was asking for it. And key word there is the manager was asking for it.
Yeah.
Right? Now, this is one of the things why the whole thing blew up the way it did is because in reality, if that was what was supposed to happen, his management failed on absolutely every level with that whole situation. And my thing is, I feel bad for the kid because you're still paying your management after you just took that L.
Bro, even like my manager, like Iridium hits me up and is like, hey, do you got time to jump on this podcast or time to do this interview? They come to me.
Ed's awesome with taking care of you guys too.
And they don't even say anything about money. And I would never I just know. Like I love chatting it up with you guys. Like it's cool, man. Like we're just bullshitting. You know what I mean? It's not like we have to like we're just being ourselves here, right? Like
that's the thing that we like to do. We like to keep it fun. We like to keep it free and things like that. But like when you're sitting there changing the whole environment, what it is, like none of us are sitting there going to buy into that. Like we all know, like I scratch your back, you scratch our back. We all support each other, and that's kind of sitting there, like the point of what I think the athlete media relationship should be. Like everything should be out in the open, and if there is a thing where we do want to bring you in to do X, Y, and Z, I think something should be discussed if there's going to be, we need to pay Pat because he's going to come and do like we're going to do an event at some bar. That is something I should pay you for, not when I'm sitting here we're sitting here on our own time and our own just whatever, just BS and chopping it up. That's a totally different situation.
Well, yeah, people are wild, always trying to get something for nothing.
The thing that you get, like Steve said, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. The reason I started doing this, like you said before, Patrick, MMA has saved my life as well, where I've seen so many fighters. I wanted to know more about them since I was a little kid. And I've come across so many inspiring stories. So when people tune into the fight and they know what this fighter's gone through, they relate, even without the fights, waking up after you hear an inspiring interview. It's so refreshing, unlike any other high I've had, when you hear somebody that has come from nothing to accomplishing, holding a championship belt. That is glitter and gold to me. And that's why I do this, is to get those stories out there, hoping someone hears it and doesn't give up. That's why I like doing this. If I wanted to pay somebody, that's a fan meetup. I'm not doing this for like, oh, guess who I got to. No, it's so much deeper. It's so much real and so much more meaningful than that. So,
I can relate to that. And it's cool that, you guys provide a platform for people and fans to get to know the backstory of some fighters a little bit. You know what I mean? Because the reality is you only see the fighter for the length of the fight, maybe 30 seconds before and 30 seconds after. You don't really get to know the fighters. Without you guys, the media, there is no intimacy for the fighter fan relationship. It's just, what the cameras see on fight night. So it's cool.
Without media bonding that attachment, you get these crazy fights and people don't know anything about this one or that one. So, exactly. We appreciate it so much. And Patrick, I got a question for you here, man.
What's
out
up?
of this heavyweight division, when you signed up for PFL, like, who are you thinking in your head you're probably gonna fight?
I didn't give a shit. Like, it honestly, none of it. I didn't care. Like, honestly, I couldn't name 5 of them. The guy who won last year, Capoloza, right? Maurice Green, he's the other American. I think there's the Del Castro guy, right? How do you say his name? The guy in the front is Capoloza, and then Del Castro, and then Maurice Green is like behind Del Castro, dude. I'm probably saying it wrong. But none of, like, I train with Chris Dawkins every day. Like, I train with a top 10 heavyweight in the world. So it's like, nobody really scares me. They don't scare me. I like, none of them really excite me. Like, it's just a fight. Like, I just want to go in there and try to prove, to myself of what I can do, so it's all good. No real names. No names, just me versus the guy across from me.
That's just the way it always should
put
be,
me
right?
in there, coach. But I got one last thing here, man. Like,
what's up?
In my mind, like, I was thinking about it. Like, why are these fighters signing to BKFC? Why are they signing to PFL? We haven't really heard many fighters signing over to Bellator, or a lot of fighters really wanting to go over to the UFC. Why is PFL the perfect place for you? Does it excite you, the tournaments? Like, there's one, and you can have something a little different, doing different styles of mixed martial arts. But PFL, from where they came as World Series of Fighting and all these, trial and error, I think they have one of the most exciting things going on right now for the newer MMA fans that want to watch a fight and see where it goes afterwards. Not just like, I saw a crazy fight. Like, no, you follow the journey of the winners all the way to the top. So
yeah, what do they say? It's not a fight, it's a season. It wasn't that necessarily that PFL excited me or anything like that. It was, I wanted the opportunity to prove myself outside of the regional level. I wanted the opportunity to move up a level. You know what I mean? Like like if it was Bellator or the PFL or the UFC, like, you know, in my mind, I had told myself that, like, I'm only going to the UFC. I'm only going to fight for the UFC. But, like, at the end of the day, you're right. The PFL is providing, you know, they're paying good money. They're paying good money. And there are guys like Shane Burgos who had the opportunity to re-sign with the UFC, and they opted out, and they went to the PFL. And people like Kayla Harrison, that, like, that girl had dinners with Dana White, where, like,
I mean,
Dana
I think
White.
Kayla made the right. If you look at how the upper level women's division are looked at, Kayla made the right choice. UFC was never going to ever really invest in. We've already seen what they try to do with investing in that division. They're not going to do it. They destroyed it the minute they could.
I mean, look, whether she did or didn't make the right decision, I don't know. It would be hard to know if she did or didn't without some type of, like, you know, you'd have to cross analyze it to a decision that if she did go to the UFC, like, if what's the saying? If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. You know what I mean? Kayla Harrison is a killer. She's a savage, and she's gonna excel no matter where she fights. Right.
Yeah, I agree.
So
the one fight I want to see is her and Amanda Levy. We have to see that.
yeah, man.
At least in a grappling sense.
Yeah, Amanda Levy's tough. She trains out of Marquez MMA. She's tough, man. She's tough.
Man, I got some upsetting news for you though, Pat.
What's that?
What happened?
Last thing I want to tell you, man. I know how excited you were. You had all the ambition for, you know, something to really come together that you saw as the best thing that could have happened for these two people. And unfortunately, Colby Covington isn't going to be fighting who you want him to fight in Cosma. He's going to be fighting Leon Edwards. Because I saw that you were cheering so much for Colby Covington versus Kamza. I wanted that too. But recently, I think it was like today, Colby's going over to London. Steve, did you want to see that? Is this the right choice to go to London? Or
we debated it last week on you know, if it should be Kobe, if it should be Bulla. Like there's a lot of things going on in between that. At the same time,
it should be Kobe.
The way the UFC does thing is the way they've always done. It doesn't matter what the rankings say. They're going to make the fight that they feel is going to be the most exciting, makes them the more money, etc.
It should be Colby Covington, because Colby Covington's the next best welterweight. It's black and white, dude. It's Usman, and then Colby Covington's the next best one.
Man, I'll never forget the first Usman Kobe fight. Me and Steve actually interviewed Kobe years and years ago.
Yeah, before the persona.
But before
the persona change.
Before the shtick, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, before he became the heel.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Pat, where I was going with this question, you wanted to be the first guy who was the oldest fighter to get signed to the UFC. That was like your whole plan when you started, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going into PFL, I mean, are you one of the oldest on the roster? There's got to be a couple guys.
I think I am the oldest on the roster. Yeah.
So you're 38 right now, right?
I'm 39 right now.
39.
Who's older? I don't think anyone's older than me.
Right, Steve? I don't think there's anyone older.
No, I mean, I think the oldest active heavyweight we have right now is what? Andre Arlovsky?
Yeah. Andre Arlovsky is what, 43?
Something, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The idea was to be the oldest person ever signed to a new contract that wasn't already on the roster. But look, boys, my journey ain't over yet, guys.
I know. You don't know what's gonna happen.
We don't know where we stand. Yeah. So we don't know what the future lies. And
I hope you do have a nice run in PFL, but I do hope you do get the able to notch that goal off the checklist, you know?
Yeah, I mean, look, I got one fight right now, and it's in 1 week from tonight. So, that's the one that I'm worried about, and that's what I got to get through. And all the rest of it is fun to think about, but that's all it is. It's just pipe dreams. I got one fight.
I got one more that I want to throw at you before we get ready to start slowing things down here. Did you catch the Hasta Bula nonsense over the last few days?
Who is it?
the weirdo kid they've been pushing around.
He's not a kid. He's an adult.
No. From what promotion?
He's
from
from
the UFC.
Russia.
Hasbulla. Oh, you're saying Hasbulla. Yeah, I know little Hasbulla. What about him?
Did you see that they have given him a trading card now?
That's all right. Whatever, man. They're just trying to sell some shit. You know what I mean? Listen, this is what a lot of people don't understand, that the UFC is a publicly traded company. They have shareholders that they are obligated to make money. And it's black and white. If you buy a share of the UFC stock on Monday for $1, you expect it to be worth $2 on Tuesday. So Dana White has an obligation to grow his company infinitely. Think about that. Infinitely. He has to grow every year. He has to make more money than the year that he did before. Like, it's not private money anymore. It's shareholders.
The reason why they sign a guy like Hostable is just because the money he's going to pull in from that market over in the UK.
Anything, whatever, like all the gimmicks, the power slaps, the fucking, he's going to pull out all the gimmicks because
that makes so much sense.
He has to make more money than he did the year before. And my problem with that is like, okay, so how do you make money? So you either have to absorb other companies, right? Because that's a tactic that big companies use to generate more money. They buy other companies, right? They buy them for cheap evaluations and they make more money off of a cheap valuation, right? So there's buying other companies, which who is the UFC going to buy?
There's no one they can buy anymore. They've already done all that.
And then the other way to make money is to optimize, right? You have to run your company more efficiently one year than you did the year before, and you can create revenue that way because you're saving money through optimization, right? But eventually you plateau, right? And you're going to plateau and you're not going to create revenue because you are what you are at that point, right? And what I think is going to happen when that happens is who's going to lose out? The fighters. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so now we're not creating any revenue.
Well, that's the thing, right? They're reaching outside of their roster to TikTok star or whatever. It says a lot about what they think they could turn their roster into when they grab somebody like that. Like you said, it's a quick cash grab.
They're just trying to capitalize off some, just like their NFT gold chains that they were selling. Like, it's just little gimmicks. And look, I'm not knocking it. Like, go make your money, UFC. But like, what I'm saying is that like, there's a thing that goes with when you're a publicly traded company. There's a requirement of growth. And as a company, like, what are you going to do to continue to grow every year? What are you going to do?
That's what me and Steve work on. How do we grow for next week?
But here's the thing: you're not obligated to shareholders. You're obligated to one another.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not like staring down the barrel of a board. You know what I mean? It's
where Dana does.
yeah. I mean, he's got people he's got to answer to. So
really quick, you're 38 right now, right? So 39. I keep trying to give you the,
trying to make him younger.
Yeah, it's all good.
Like I said, PFL is perfect, absolutely perfect for you because it's a quick run to the goal. Instead of going building your career that might take another 8 years or something like that. How many times do you want to do this with the PFL?
As many times as they continue to let me.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? If they want to keep putting me out there, I'm going to keep showing up.
So
it's black and white, whatever. Give me a fight, I'll show up and I'll fight. It's pretty simple.
Who are you bringing with you other than your wife? Obviously, your corner, and
I got my corner. My corner's Chris Dawkins is flying out with me Sunday morning, And then I got Andre Petrowski coming out Wednesday morning. And then I got my coach, Will Martinez, coming out Thursday morning.
So you got absolute killers going out there, man.
Yeah. I'm
we're
pumped.
rooting for you. We really
Thanks,
are.
guys. I appreciate you guys having me on. And
the kids, though, the fights are on pretty late. Or actually, no, it's in Vegas, so it's going to be early.
It's in Vegas, so it's 6:30 Eastern time. Is the first prelim fight. I think I'm the second or third fight.
So the kids are going to be able to watch. We're going to be watching. We're going to be rooting for you. I'm going to be putting money on you.
Thanks, guys. Hey, it's probably a good bet because I know I'll be the underdog. So I think I'll probably be around.
Bet, you know what I mean?
I'll probably be the biggest dogs on the card. I'll probably be like -300-400. So that's a good money.
That's because nobody's seen you knock these dudes out or submit these dudes that you've been doing. So yeah, I'm going to take that all day. What we'd like to do at this point in the interview is hand the imaginary microphone over to you. If you have any social media, shout outs, sponsors, anything at all, the floor is now all yours.
Yeah. So thank you to Performance Meal Prep. They've been hooking me up, taking care of my food. We got Apollo Pre-Owned, who I can't say enough things about Apollo Pre-Owned over on Delsey Drive in Sewell, New Jersey. Those guys have been great. Mikey Coulter's the general manager. Family-owned business. Go in there, take a look at their wide inventory. Executive Tree Care, my man Jeremy Sirkin. Executive Tree Care. He's got his he sells his honey. He has a tree business. He's great, tri-state area. Any of your tree needs, hit up Jeremy. Antrim Electric, Primal Nutrition, always there for me. So I appreciate you guys.
We appreciate your time tonight, Pat. You know, best of skill in the fight next week. Hopefully, you know, in and out, and you know, we can get to see you one more time before the summer's over.
Yeah, man. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
All right. God bless.
See you.
All right, everyone. That was Mr. Patrick, the Brick Brady, and that's gonna be fun, man. Like I said, you know, got a little mixed up with the timing there because how everything works out with kids in life. But
I'll tell you what,
Amber on, we got Pat on. We talked some PFL. We talked some of the craziness that was going on in combat sports.
Yeah. Man, I had the worst cotton mouth ever since he told me that he's been clean for a certain amount of time because all I have is my beer. So, dude, I was sitting there like a dried up corpse asking questions. Just worst, bro.
Well, that's why you're supposed to stay hydrated, knucklehead.
I think
the only thing we didn't touch was the injury. Was the injury thing that I found.
What do you mean the injury thing? Henry Gracie testified in court that awarded $46 million to a white belt who got paralyzed in BJJ. Now, Steve, I've been watching these videos like, you know, the Travis Scott concert, kids getting paralyzed, kids getting trampled on. And I was thinking about it, bro. Is that enough money? Like, what does money do? Travis Scott,
dude, the guy is paralyzed. How can we say that is or isn't enough money? Like, we don't know.
I can't even imagine.
Was the insurance company that good or whatever, or the gym's insurance that's what it really boils down to, is how good the insurance is.
No,
that's what determine what the payout is for whatever.
Henry Gracie has been the target of multiple situations where there was money that he was supposed to pay out. This dude, you think, is going to pay $46 million now? Like, people can't get a penny out of this guy from what they owe, at least from what I've heard. You know, in the
rough,
past.
Man. It's a rough situation. It's to be in. You know, it's unfortunate that Hunter is kind of involved in this at this point in time. I don't know.
The money comes from the Gracie insurance, I would guess, right? They're the ones that would pay.
Whoever insures their gym is basically who it goes after. So the problem is who he's going to be able to have his gym insured with after the fact is kind of really the thing. It's unfortunate.
How did this happen? Just rolling?
I didn't see it. I just came across it and was like, that's just sad. I don't know if it was one of those things where, you had one of these guys who was either being a mat bully or just one of those things where, you know, it was an unfortunate thing. Like, he was a white belt and didn't pay attention. You didn't really know what was going on, but either way, not a great look. It's not something we want to have to
It was
report on
during
or
a
talk on.
beginner beginner.
It was his trial period.
A white belt beginner, bro. There's like
It
children.
wasn't even like he made it past his trial. That's what I'm saying. It was still the trial period. So it's just really unfortunate. I mean, some people,
What does that say about MMA itself, though, too? Because I also saw Joe Rogan is trying to advocate for an illegal move to the back of the head, where we've seen boxers actually become paralyzed from that as well. Especially,
I mean, I guess it's because you see with a lot of guys, what they do is they turtle to that position. When either they get rocked or knocked down or taken down, and the guys start rolling punches, they roll to that position to kind of use it as a defense. I get what he's saying in that aspect, but like I don't think like as you're standing up, you should be able to circle around your opponent and punch him in the back of the head.
Very dangerous, man. Life altering. You do not want anything like that happening, and I don't think that Joe Rogan's desire to see real caveman, barbarian type fighting is not the safest thing to try to pass these rule changes for. It's just we got enough violence. Why do you need that now? It's just too sad. It's just too sad. I've seen fighters say so many things trying to go against it, and that's what it should come down to. Do the fighters agree with this? Big John McCarthy had a lot to do with tons of these rules when the UFC first started. And over the years, we've seen the rules change a lot for the safety, not against their safety. It's just sad, man. For this to happen during a beginner's class says a lot about the actual dangers of mixed martial arts.
Yeah, it's not something we want to see or have to talk about, but it happens. It's unfortunate. It needs to be discussed. It needs to be rooted out because you see enough of this at some point in time, and you're going to see things change about it. Both how gyms are being able to ensure that people who are wanting to get involved in jiu-jitsu and combat sports, it's going to have an effect one way or another.
I got something special for us next week too.
What's that, brother?
I want to go about showing people how mixed martial arts can actually save lives. I found a couple of really quick clips of people actually using their jiu-jitsu to stop an awful situation from going down. And I would like to get some of those fighters on for an interview to go through the situation that happened.
Yeah, we still have to do that other thing that we were talking about. That remember I showed you the fighter who reached out to me last week, so we gotta talk to her too.
Oh yes.
That's like again one of these unfortunate situations you have to deal with, the culture that is involved in MMA and combat sports and things of that nature. So there's the good, there's the bad, there's the ugly, and there's the great. So sometimes you get the good, sometimes you get the great, sometimes you get bad, sometimes you get the really ugly. So it's just like life, man. There's beautiful aspects of it, and there's absolutely deplorable, disgusting aspects of it.
And you know what, bro? We center in on the negative way too much over the positive. That's why I enjoy doing these interviews. That's why tonight's show was so motivational between our first guest and Amber and the second one with Patrick. Amazing stories tonight on the podcast.
I'm surprised Amber didn't have a little bit more confidence with who she is and what she's done to this point. It was probably my one takeaway from that. Pat, what he's done, what he's gone through to get to where he's at. I really hope he's able to capitalize on all of it. I hope he wins the tournament, gets that money regardless if he wants it or not. Because and hopefully, like I said, he's able to notch that last thing off of his combat sports to-do list is being signed by the UFC.
How about his wife? She was just like, huh?
Right. She's just like,
she's not happy about it at all.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about it. I think, like you said, it's more along the lines of the fact that her family is in medicine and her doctors, nurses, etc. So they know the damages that come through with being in fights and things of that nature. So I get why she feels that way, but at the same time, why Pat's doing. Go ahead.
He explained it perfectly. Like, listen, I do this because I feel like I let myself down in the past, not going through with the college football thing, giving my best. This is
but
how
also you gotta
I
think
don't
about it
end up.
too. Like he already kind of said it without saying it, like where he was. Like, yeah, he did have some opportunities that he let go to waste because of bad choices and bad decisions, but he also is the one that dusted himself up, picked himself off,
got
and
sober and
pivoted and found himself another outlet to get that energy that he had towards athletics. You know,
man,
not everyone is able to kind of be able to still do that after going through all that with with just deciding to partying up and doing this, that, and the third, instead of taking the opportunity and take advantage of what he had in front of him. Not everyone can pick themselves off and still find the outlet and still find the thing that they're passionate about.
shows a lot about sobriety. You can still be happy, you can still be excited, and you can still go around the world and see and witness and go into and experience amazing things in your life. The road is not over just because you got to get sober. So great interview. I would like to have some more Philly guys on. So
we'll see about that. I'll do my best. I'll do my best.
That's just exciting, man. PFL takeover on Combat Deviants for Belly Up Sports. And we got a couple of exciting events coming up. So you guys want to tune in for that. Subscribe down below here on YouTube. I want to make this nice and quick because this is where you guys always tune out on us. So we're almost at 1,000 subscribers. It would mean so much to hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys next week at 9 o'clock, 9:30. I'm Evil Eddie.
We got some special stuff coming between now and then. You know, I got a couple interviews, both inside combat sports and outside combat sports. We have the Cardcore Hobby Talk Show launching next week. We got a lot of stuff going on here at Belly Up Sports. Belly Up Sports. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. You know, let grandma, your uncle, your aunt know what's going on. Tell them to shoot us subscribe, check us out, and keep up with all the programming here on Belly Up Sports.
Go follow Amber Leibrock on Instagram and also our boy Patrick Brady, because you're not going to want to miss it, man. It's her profile is amazing. Patrick at Heavyweight Brady. And that does it for us at Combat Deviants for Belly Up Sports. I'm Evil Eddie. That's Steve. And we will see you guys next week at 9:30 with also an exciting card show that is coming up for everybody. So don't want to miss it.
Also, we scheduled Eric Anders next week too. So
and Eric Anders.
Make
All
sure
right, guys. God
Make sure
bless.
you're locked in. You don't want to miss out.